Hey gang, part 4 and the last part of the KLX110 for Andy's son. I sure hope this Kawasaki doesn't mind a little bit of Honda Bond, but that's what we're going to use up in that blind hole. A lot of guys suggested just put a stud up there and then run a nut down on it. I just went and I bought a longer bolt that's going to be plenty long enough. I'm going to goop it up real good, and I also cut a couple of gaskets, rubber gaskets. One is going to go right there, right on top, and the bolt's going to go through just like that. Of course, we're going to have the brush guard on there, the skid plate that's going to go on just like that down there at the bottom of the screen, and that's going to compress against the hole. So that's the direction we're going to go. Then we'll fill it up with oil, see if it's going to seal off real good. Fingers crossed that that will remedy the problem. This is HT. HT stands for high temp, so I shouldn't have any problems with this curing. Obviously, I'm going to let it cure the recommended length of time before we add oil to it and before we try to start it. So what do you say we just go ahead and dive right into it? Give me just a second, I'll get everything set up, and then we'll start putting it together. Alright, I think I won't have to get up and go grab anything. Pretty sure I've got everything here that I need. You see here I've got the brush guard, skid plate, bolted to the front. Had to do a little bit of trickery there. I'll show you guys that in a little bit. Also had to do a lot of straightening out on it. It wasn't lining up with these two holes at all. So now we are officially ready to mount this beast. And we're going to start with the bolt that has the hole that goes all the way through. So I'm going to slather on a good bit of this gasket maker on the leading edge of the threads. I know my hand's in the way. I'll show you after I get done here. And what it's going to do, it's going to get into all the threads and take up all the gaps. Okay, just globbed it on there. Now here's where I need a third and possibly fourth hand, because I need to, I probably should have put that through before here, let's do this. See, when I say that I thought that I was prepared, I really wasn't. Sorry, hang on. Had to get some paper towels. I should have poked that through the hole before I put the gasket maker on there, but it'll be okay. All I'm doing right now is just smoothing it out so that I can get it through the hole and make sure that I've got that down into the threads really well. You can see there. Let me get that off my finger so I'm not transferring it all over everywhere. I had to get up and get a paper towel. Alright. I'm going to carefully guide that through the hole. That went quite well. But here's the thing. I need to get my gasket on there. You guys can't see what I'm doing. I have to get the gasket on there. I just put a little bit of that gasket maker on to hold it in place. Then I need to bring the rock guard up, the skid plate, insert that bolt through that one, and then insert that bolt through this one, and make sure that our gasket goes all the way down. Come on, get down there. Get down, get down, get down, get down. Okay. Now we're going to come up and just get this started. Just going to start the threads. Uh-oh, there we go. Alright, we've got that started. Now I can throw the other 3 in. We'll go through and tighten them all down. Now, I've got a longer one for the front because we're going through more than one thing here. And then 2 shorter ones for the back. That's that. Then we'll go through the back. 1, 2. So far, so good. Get up in there. There you go. All right, let's run those down. Well, I thought I had the wrench sitting right here with everything I needed on it. Well, where did it go, guys? Did you see where it went? Where is it? Where is it? We got to hunt and peck for it. I had that socket sitting right here. Duh, it's right there. All right. Let's go ahead and run these up. That one's about ran all the way up. Run it up, run it up, run it up. And putting that gasket maker on there and that one little gasket that I made, fingers crossed, will keep that one hole from leaking. That is a really big hope and pray, and we'll find out soon enough after we let this cure for a little while. And while this is curing, we're going to go over to the other side and take the carburetor off and take it apart and take a look at it and dunk it in the Sonic parts cleaner, which has been heating up for the last little bit. Then after we get it back on, guess what we're gonna do? I won't videotape it, but I'm gonna start it up and take it out and take it over to the garage and give it a good cleaning. Douse it down with some Awesome and just get all the crud off of it. And these are all, everything's lining up perfectly. Everything is tightening up real nice. That's just beautiful. I don't think we're going to have a leak at all. And I got all new lock nuts and washers. There we go. Alright, now I'm going to show you guys the little bit of trickery that I did with the, let me pop this strap off and hope that everything stays put. Let me get the camera off here. Okay, this is a JIS screw. I don't know if you can see that, but it's got a little dot right there. JIS screw. Well, I didn't have a bolt long enough, so I went over in my parts hoard of Japanese spare bits and pieces and found a JIS screw, and it was actually too long, so I cut it way down. And then I had to chase the threads in the hole. Got the holes in, or the threads in the hole chased, and got the bolt cut down, and now we are golden. Where there was not a bolt on that skid plate on that side, there now is. And then over on the other side, I believe we have a 8mm, so I'll grab a different wrench here. We'll grab that one. And we've just got one right here that we need to tighten down. And Andy was on live stream last night and asked how the KLX is going. I told him, I said, I've just got a couple bolts to throw in, and that's literally, really all I'm doing. That's all I have left, other than just tossing the carburetor in the parts cleaner. Runs all right, doesn't have any flat spots or anything like that. I just want to clean it up and get it to where it is just a happy little camper in case there's any gum or junk or anything like that in there. So let me get set up. We'll pop that sucker off of there, toss it into parts cleaner, but we'll have a look at it before we throw it into parts cleaner, see what kind of junk we've got in it. So stay tuned. All right, well, while we wait for that gasket material to cure, we are on the on the other side of the little KLX110, getting ready to take the carburetor off. So what we're going to do is just break it free right from the intake elbow. I've already taken the liberty of taking the choke lever off and loosening the carburetor slide so that once I do get it freed from its confines, it'll be easier to get that slide out and inspect that needle and take everything over to, yeah, all you guys can see is that's what I'm doing. I'm just taking the nut out, or the bolt rather. We'll get that one just about off. I gotta go over to the other side, but you guys should still be able to hear me. Not that I've got anything real important to say, because all I'm doing is taking bits and pieces off. Okay. There's just a couple bolts hold the choke on, so I figured I'd just leave the choke on the carburetor, just take it off the frame. Lesser of two evils. Get this carburetor off, give it over the bench, pop that fuel bowl off, see what we've got going on inside there. I just happen to have my magnetic parts tray in just the right spot, and it caught all the fuel that came out of the fuel line after I pulled it off. So let's get this one out. And I'm using the new foot peg mount to hold the camera right now. So it's a new multi-purpose, huh? There it is. Of course I dropped it. Come here. Gotcha. Okay, now we'll give it just a gentle little tap. Ready? I'm ready. You ready? I'll tap it right here on the carburetor elbow. I don't need to. It's loose. Okay, there we go. We've got the carburetor loose. This here is just the overflow vent tube. We've got our gasket in here, and the gasket looks like it's in pretty good shape. We'll just screw that off. That looks good. Okay, well, we've got the carburetor free and clear, so let's go ahead and take the carburetor over to the workbench, pop it apart, and see what we've got inside there. So hang on. Alright, let's get this sucker taken apart. Just going to check the condition of the fuel bowl. There's one. Oh wow, it's really, really clean. You see that? Really clean. I don't even really see a reason to wash this, but we'll do it anyway. Let's get the drain screw out here. Gasket looks alright. Let's pop that gasket out. We'll leave that out and not put it in the cleaner. The cleaner that I've got in there, the Awesome, LA's Totally Awesome, wouldn't damage the gaskets at all, but we'll go ahead and pop them out anyway. It's not like a carburetor cleaner. There's that one. Let's get this one off of this side. There's that one. Like that. Pop the pin out. It's in really nice shape. Looks really good. I figure it's 15 years old. Okay, get my little tea basket. Put all the little itty bitty parts. I'm going to go ahead and throw the screws in there. Why not? Let's go ahead and pop the jets off. Yeah, we got a little bit of smoosh around that, so that's probably a good thing. We're going ahead and doing this anyway, huh? Looks can be deceiving, right? Okay, now I'm not going to blow anything out, clean anything out, none of the above. I'm just going to put it in the sonic cleaner. I gotta check here. Let me get this driver here. Let me see what our settings are. You guys can see we've got half, 1, half, 1.5. Alright, standard. That's the way it should be. Back that sucker out of there. And put those small parts down in the tea steeping basket. This is a larger tea steeping basket. They have smaller ones, but got lucky and found a large one. Okay, we have one little O-ring there. We'll pop that little guy off, and we'll leave the washer with it. We'll set that over there. Okay, set that in. Double check here. We have half, 1, half, 2, and a half. 2.5. Okay, 1.5 and 2.5. That's your idle circuit in your main. So 1.5 and 2.5. 2.5 on the main. That feels alright. I'm just going to go ahead and leave that one on there. Okay. And we have everything off and apart. And I'm just going to leave the choke handle hang out. No sense taking that assembly off. No real reason to. We're just wanting to clean the outer body up and get all the passages cleaned up. We'll run it for, what? And we'll run it for 10 minutes. See what it looks like. There we go. Shut the heater off. We're at 40 degrees centigrade or Celsius. We'll stick her in there. It's even got a hook on it. It's even got a hook on it. I guess you guys can come over here and see what I'm doing. Put the basket in there, just hook it on the side of the big basket. I'll just set her down in there. Loosely drape the lid over top and kick her on. We'll see you guys in about 10 minutes. Alright, provided I've got sound, this clip will go on there. We've got our 10-minute soak in. Let's get it out of there. Take a look and see how everything looks. Yep, they're toasty warm. Get everything set over here. We'll move the camera. Thank you, Sonic Cleaner. I appreciate your service. Okay. Oh, while I waited, I whipped out a quick little scribe on the lathe. Whopping 10-minute wait there. I was bored. Okay, let's take a look without doing anything to it. Let's see just how clean. Now we do have a couple of little spots here. We'll use the new scribe where mud just collected. Get rid of that. I won't blow that off right there. I won't blow that off until after I get everything stuck back together. But first we're going to get the air hose over here and just clean off and clean out all the passages. Give them just a light little puff of air after I show you guys what I'm actually doing. A little puff of air. There we go. It's a vent. Idle circuit. Main. Float. Come through the fuel inlet. Come over to the other side. And we'll get the main. Idle. Alright, let's throw it back together. And I already oiled up the, I got a lot done in 10 minutes. I already oiled up the motorcycle. So as soon as we get carburetor put back together and get it reinstalled, we can kick her over. I'll move this out of the way and take a look at these parts here. Let's dump them out. Remember, we had one little, the main jet had a considerable amount of smooge on it, which was here. And it looks pretty good. I'm just going to blow through it. I've got a nice clear shot straight down into it, which is good. And I cannot see through the idle. So we'll get our little kit here. See if we can just pass through there. I don't have my flashlight over here. Why don't I have my flashlight over here? I know I sound really enthused, don't I? That's the tiniest little orifice. I'm just gonna blow on it and see. Okay, so it is clear. Everything's clear. We're in good shape. Alright. And everything else looks good. Let's go ahead and get everything all put back together. What do you say? You guys game? Well, we had 1.5 and 2.5. We'll get those in. Have to get everything screwed back in. Like I said, we'll throw her back on the motorcycle and see how we do. So that's bottomed out. So there's half, 1, half. That's where it was. Let's get our main. Main didn't even come apart. We'll seat that and come out 2.5. And 2.5 seems like a bit much when you're talking about mowers, but on these guys, it's usually ballpark. So there's seated. Half, 1, half, 2, half. 2.5. Alright. Now that goes on the float bowl. We'll put our main in. Just get it started. Get our idle in. Get it started. Gotta hold your tongue right, Zippo. Seated. And these they get seated all the way down. And seated. Good. Alright, now we can put the float together. Float over here. I did the float test, and it floated just fine. Get it over here and just set it down. Set it right down in there. There we go. Slide her in there. I know this is exciting. It's almost like watching paint dry. Watching Zippo put this. Hopefully I'll be a little more upbeat when Friday rolls around. The gasket's nice and clean and it looks good. We'll set it back down in here. We can blow this off here real quick. Get it cleaned up. I haven't even shown you guys the new air compressor yet, have I? I just might do that for you guys here in just a little bit. And it's just a drain. That's a real good idea in the winter time when you're finished with riding, to shut the fuel off and drain the carburetor out. And that little screw right there is what you can use. Sorry about that. It is 5 p.m. and my woman just got off work. Had to tell her to be careful going home. Now it just tells me it's recording and it's not showing me a picture. It's not showing me a time either. Well, is it still recording? Yes, we're still recording. Okay, good enough. We got that all done. Let's get that seated down in there. It's got this weird little doodad. You just start there, walk it around. Make sure it seats in there real nice. And just stick it together. You can see the float has a little opening right there. Well, that's so that that needle will go right down on it, so that you can orient that correctly. Got to make sure everything's oriented right, you know what? Use our JIS screwdriver, Japanese Industrial Standard. Just get that one started. We'll get this one started. And that buttons it up. I'll see you guys over on the motorcycle, which should be momentarily. You guys heard that? That's my woman. Can't ignore her. No, 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 no. Cannot. Alright, we'll see you back over at the bike. Well, reassembly is pretty much just the reverse of disassembly. I don't know that you guys necessarily need to sit here and watch me put this thing all back together. I mean, if you want to, you can. Or I can just go ahead and close her out and see you guys after I get everything all back together. I gotta get these vent tubes run up and over. Snaking things in through all over everywhere. That one over. I know all you guys are looking at is my hand. Get those over. Move the boot out of the way a little bit. Boot's in good shape. It's still real pliable. Then we'll get the bolts for the carburetor shoved back in the holes. Let's get the closest one started first, huh? What do you think of that? I think that's alright, don't you? Now I need to take it back off so I can put that sucker on there. Alright, I'm going to button this back up and then we'll kick her over and see if she's going to start. So hang on. Alright, here we go. Let's see if all that hard work panned out and if we're going to have a oil leak or anything like that. It's on run, pull choke, choke's pulled. Bike is very well secured. I didn't expect that. Settled right down to idle like it should have. Sounds good. That is a really, really quiet engine now. Put it in gear. Put on the brake. In gear. I can't put it back in neutral because I've got the lift down there. That was just the wrench coming off of the jack. Well, I'm calling it a win. Awesome. Adjusted the timing chain on it. Just they're real simple to do. Well, you guys pretty much know everything that I did to it. We just walked through and did the last of it with cleaning the carburetor and whatnot as far as that goes. Andy is eventually going to get the heat shields himself, so we're not going to do anything with that. So now all I got to do is get Andy over here with the new plastics. We'll throw the new plastics on it. I am going to give it a bath, but get the new plastics on. And then the little KLX110 is a red eye to go. So I think I'm just going to leave plastics off, obviously, because we're putting new ones on. I'm going to go tool around the yard a little bit. It's Friendly Neighborhood Zippo. If you guys liked this series, not a whole lot happened here for a little while because I was messing around with my neck. But if you guys like this little KLX110 series, let me know. I do have a John Deere and a snowblower sitting outside. They both need some help, so we'll be getting on those here pretty shortly. I'll catch you guys on the next one. If you would, please, right down there, you can subscribe to me. Over here is a random video, and over here is the most recent upload on the KLX. Catch you on the next one. Later. I'm out.